Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be back here again. I have known many of you for nearly 2 decades. It's been a wonderful journey together with all of you. I think at the core, you're all well-wishers of the company, and everything else actually springs from that feeling, from that relationship. And it's been a great journey of being encouraged, challenged, critiqued by all of you on an annual basis at these conferences, earlier once in 2 years now, and quarterly calls and other kinds of interactions. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for, in a way, keeping this part of a very, very critical part of the financial performance of the company, the governance of the company, in the right place for maximizing value for all the shareholders here and outside. Thank you very much for that. And, given the nature of India today as an economy and the opportunity that it represents, especially for a company like Titan, 2 years back, we charted out, around the time when we came here and met you last, we charted out a program called the Titan Turbo, which is actually turbocharging towards the future, because the surrounding conditions for a company like Titan were very, very opportune. And I would like to begin with that opportunity first. If you see any report from any consulting company, any economist speaks about an accelerated change in the top income classes of this country, even as the country marches towards a $5,000 per capita income. So it's very marked in the top 2 income segments, which are called the elite and the affluent. And in this decade, the share of those households to the total is expected to double. And Titan Company is very, very closely aligned with these households for its business. Almost every new business that we can get into typically sort of caters to these segments. And that's a good thing from a Titan Company point of view, which advantage is not available for mass market companies who cater to middle class and the lower middle classes. The second thing is that, just give me a second, please. Sorry about that. The second thing is that in virtually every category in which we operate, and we have chosen to enter categories which are, informal, unorganized, by and large. So in any category we enter, even after many years, jewelry, it's now 27, 28 years, we're still in a high single-digit market share for the jewelry business of Titan, for example. And likewise in many other categories other than watches. So therefore, the headroom, the formalization accelerates in a period of affluencing that's happening, and that formalizing, that acceleration will give us one more tailwind in this growth journey. The third is, Bharat markets are rising in affluence, rising in access, desire, and everywhere we go, for example, whether it is Ambikapur in Chhattisgarh, or Dumka in Jharkhand, or Malda in Bengal, or Pollachi in Tamil Nadu, or Kudal in Maharashtra, smallest of towns, Jharsuguda in Odisha, many towns that some of us haven't heard of, but we go and plant the flag there, and the flag is, starting to fly really strongly in those markets. And this, given the kind of country, I don't know how many of you have traveled really deep into India, and many of us in Titan, because we are a company like that, have done that. And when you go to a town which is 4 or 5 lakhs, you go to a small town like Satna in Madhya Pradesh, it's a very small town, in that sense, but there are maybe 3 lakh people, which is a lot of people. And when a Zudio and a Tanishq are next to each other, even a Zudio is going into Satna, So therefore, the almost unlimited depth of that opportunity, particularly from a decadal point of view, is very, very strong. That's another third thing. And of course, a lot of them want Tanishq, a lot of them want Titan. Certainly, all of them want Tata, and therefore the power of that is taking us there. And of course, outside India, the diaspora is claiming its Indianness even more so. I mean, there seems to be a sense of destiny, certainly feeling of destiny among Indians outside India about our country has really come of age, and we are like one of the top countries in the world, and therefore they're proud to wear the Indianness on their sleeve, celebrate Indianness like never before. So the weddings and the festivals and all that, and the products that we make, and particularly jewelry, is very much central to that Indianness, and we are seeing the benefits of that even as I speak. So in a way, the opportunities are very strong and multidimensional, and therefore this whole turbocharging is built on that evidence, on that foundation of multiple tailwinds. And I'll just give you a flavor of the company in FY27 and leave it to the CEOs and Ashok to speak about all those in greater detail. One is that we've always considered ourselves as a string of pearls company. We wanted to make many things which adorn people and which make people feel and look good. And we are focused on products which come on the person of a person, on the body of a person. And some of you have certainly spoken about it taking us some longer time to get them to scale, and that's, we are aware of that. I mean, there has been a certain attempt to accelerate that, and we have done some good work in the last few years, but in the next 3-4 years, we expect to scale those much better. So whether it is smart wearables, which picked up, really speaking, from 2021 in a serious way, or fragrances, women's bags, Tenera, every one of which has got a very strong opportunity. We're looking at a big scale-up in the next 3 years between 24 and 27, 3x in wearables, 2x in fragrances, and 3x in women's bags and Tenera. These are all volume numbers, because certainly in a company like Titan, where the ticket size of jewelry is 100,000 plus INR, it's a little incomplete and not the right thing to compare revenue share of other businesses. Whereas perfume, a bottle of perfume is on average $2,500. It's 1/40th. Smart wearable is maybe $3,500-4,000, 1/25th, and so on. And therefore, the numbers of customers that we have is a very important metric from a lifestyle products company point of view. So this is a very important share change in volume that we see in the next 3 years. A respectable international business share. Now, because the jewelry industry in India is so large, and Tanishq and the other brands together are also very large, the outside India is still small, but growing at a very rapid pace. We have done so much in the last 3.5 years that we've actually, from the first store that we set up in October of 2021, really scaling up at a blistering pace. But since it's a very late start, the share is low. But between FY24 and FY27, we see a marked change from 2%, more than doubling to 5% in share to the total business of the company. And we see a lot of opportunity here, certainly in the NRI PIO side, but equally, as we are imagining possibilities in America and North America, among the white Americans, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, and here Emiratis, Jordanians, Filipinos, many other nationalities, local and other nationalities which live in the GCC area, in Singapore. We are certainly starting to look at those customers who live, shop in the areas where the Tanishq brand is set up, and we are reimagining jewelry for them and starting to think about how we can get a decent share of our total business from other than Indians, and I'm sure that will also have some kind of bonus sitting on the growth side. We're also looking towards a more balanced financial performance portfolio across all our businesses, and I will leave it to Ashok to talk about that. Obviously, the age of each business has a bearing on its financial performance, and our most recent business, in a sense, is the bags business, which is just about a year and a half old, really speaking, and if I include Fast Track, maybe 3-4 years. So obviously, it's not yet pulling its weight. Whereas the mature businesses like watches, wearables is new, jewelry, of course, and eye care, they are certainly pulling their weight in terms of the EBIT margin profile, of course, with some room for improvement without doubt, but acceptable levels nevertheless of EBIT and ROCE. But Taneira, bags, perfumes, international, wearables, those have to fire better, and we're looking for improvements happening in these in the next 3 years, so that the overall dispersion on the EBIT margin as well as the return on capital employed is lower, and there is a certain sense of good deployment of the total capital that the company has. But I will certainly assure you that from a management, I remember many, many years back when I was the CEO of the jewelry business, there have been conferences where some of you have asked, shouldn't you be focusing only on jewelry, for example, or only on a few businesses and things like that. And we had replied that we are actually a lifestyle products company. Equally our focus is on the number of customers that we excite with every product that we make. And when the lady uses her skin or Noura in the morning, the impact that it has on her is no less than when she wears a 10 lakh necklace in the evening of Tanishq. And we certainly believe in that idea. The price of the product or the size of the business is not the only measure of our own raison d'etre. And but at the same time, we understand that we need to bring each one of them to some level of scale, some certain leadership in the category in which we are there, and of course deliver an acceptable level of financial performance. So all these are sort of evolving, and we expect to reach that by 27. And from an overall time invested point of view, I can also assure you that these are all independent teams working on these businesses. All costs of the businesses are captured in the P&L of those, so therefore there is no subsidy or some waste sitting outside that. And some of us who are in the center are prudent enough to devote only the appropriate time, including the future that each business represents for that, and not in a way leave out so it's an efficient, effective way of overall top management time. Coming to the last part of my talk, which is on the subject of ESG. This is something very close to our hearts. We've been a very conscious ESG company much before the word ESG was actually even coined, way back. And we've been like that for a long time, but now we are putting all this under this framework because that's the vocabulary of the times. In FY24, we touched 600,000 plus people and 100K plus, 1 lakh plus transformed. By transformed, for example, a cataract surgery that we delivered free to somebody is transforming that person's life, or a person we enabled to become good at handling computers and becoming employable. That person's life is transformed. Or a little girl who's passed from 5th standard and went into 6th, her life is transformed. So that is the definition of transformation. So out of all the 600,000 people that we touched, 100,000 belong to these kinds of categories, and we take a lot of pride in that. So let me just run you through just pictures of the kind of stuff we do. So this is the Titan Kanya program. This is the LEAP program, which is skilling of youth. We do a lot of work on arts and crafts, supporting artisans of various types across the country. We do work in many parts of India, in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu. This is a picture from Uttarakhand, where we work with villages in an integrated manner to improve livelihood. This is our Happy Eyes program, where we take experts to villages and check the eyes of kids, adults, conduct cataract surgeries, give specs to them. On the subject of water, this is the lake which adjoins a corporate office. Some of you may have come there and seen that. And we also do a lot of work in Uttarakhand to help communities which are needing water by bringing water through gravity to their doorsteps, or strengthening the water tables in those areas through multiple interventions. We've done a lot of work in supplier transformation. The supplier responsibility side is very strong. There's a program called 4P, which is people, process, place, planet in the jewelry business, which actually a benchmark practice in the industry. And the TSEP is the Titan Supplier Engagement Protocol, which we have brought into the diamond cutting and polishing processes of our partners to transform that as well. And we plan to take it wider into the other parts of the company. A lot of work done on the diversity, equity, inclusion side, and a lot of acceleration in the last 18 months on this. And we're very proud and we're very focused on bringing equity for starting with women, but also other disadvantaged segments subsequently. And changing the culture of the organization to become much more inclusive, expanding the funnel of people coming into the organization at all levels, so that we have, even this room, it's not just Titan, but even this room should look more diverse sometime in the future. And I think every organization is working towards that. We're very strong in governance. I'm not sure how many of you know, but in 2021, in the first ever award constituted by Economic Times and AMROP, Titan Company was voted as the best board in the country. And it was every big board was there, from HDFC to Infosys to Tata Steel to TCS, and you name it. It was all boards in the country, and we were voted the best board after all that. And it's a big, it was a big moment of pride, for us. And lastly, on ethical standards, we are certainly a torchbearer company when it comes to ethical standards. Our corporate office is named Integrity. It is not named the Titan Summit or the Titan Palace or whatever, anything like that. It's called Integrity for a reason. And I wouldn't obviously belabor the point here. And we take a lot of pride. In fact, when you ask employees at large in Titan, why do you like Titan most? The question is almost always because of the ethical standards of Titan is the first thing that comes up, and we take a lot of pride in that. And we do a lot of work, and we are a benchmark company in the group as well, a group which is very well known for ethics. So that is about the broad scope of the ESG thing. And while we have done a lot of work on this subject, and you saw the photographs of our work, we do believe that there are pieces on the ESG side that we need to now step up on, particularly on the environment side. We have done a lot of work on society and governance, but environment is, in a way, a low-hanging fruit, a priority. So on energy, from consumption to substitution with renewables, a lot of work is waiting to be done on energy. Water, it is, in fact, perhaps even more pressing in India as a subject than energy is today. Circular economy, we do a fair amount of recycling of our jewelry. 40% nearly of our production now is recycled gold, and we are dreaming big to reach much higher levels. Diversity, equity, inclusion I spoke of. Partner responsibility, we have done substantial work on the retail and distributor partner relationship over decades, and decent work on the vendor partner side, but we have some more distance to travel on that. I'll just show you a film.
पहले मुझे प्यास नहीं लगती थी, सुबह 10 किलोमीटर की चढ़ाई के बाद भी नहीं। पहले मुझे प्यास नहीं लगती थी क्योंकि मुझसे पहले इनको पानी पिलाना जरूरी था। पहले मुझे प्यास नहीं लगती थी घर का काम पूरा करने के बाद भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुझसे ज़्यादा घर चलाना ज़रूरी था। पहले मुझे प्यास।
हाँ जी, नमस्ते जी, मैं हिंदुस्तान से आया हूँ। तो ये कुछ कागज़ हैं जो भी हम आपके इधर देखता और आपके कैचमेंट एरिया
आज हम 10 किलोमीटर की चढ़ाई नहीं करते, घर के काम में समझौता भी नहीं करते, फसल की चिंता भी नहीं करते, और आज जब हमें प्यास लगती है तो हम अपने आप से झूठ भी नहीं बोलते।
Titan supports Himmutan Spring Shed Management Initiative, where women across 60 villages in Uttarakhand's Tehri district have constructed trenches to raise groundwater levels.
So we really feel proud that we are a extremely stakeholder-focused company, and the route to shareholder value creation is actually putting the stakeholders in the center of everything that we do, and that's certainly proved to be a very right and very human approach over the decades, and we will continue doing that. And just closing on how would Titan continue to deliver success over the next many years and many decades. Very strong brands and very strong customer value propositions. So we take a lot of time, put in a lot of effort to build the CVP, as we call it, and build the GTM, the go-to-market strategy. And once the CVP is strong and the GTM is clear, then the scaling becomes simple, easy, effective. Deep network reach into India. We are now close to 3,000 stores. We have our flags flying. I gave you the names of some of the towns everywhere, and that deep reach, nobody can beat us in many of the categories that we operate. Exceptional customer relationships at scale. We've got 33 million customers in our Encircle database, and with our CRM engines now, we are connected with them digitally, but hundreds of thousands, in fact millions of those people are connected physically with the 20,000 plus staff that we have. There is a deep relationship which is between them. That is again a big thing to beat for anybody in our industries. Capabilities across all parts of the value chain. We are an expert starting from design, development, manufacturing and sourcing, retailing and customer experience, merchandising, brand building, after-sales service, supply chain, you name it, we either own it or we control it. We have deep expertise, and that expertise helps us to deliver competitive advantage on the one hand in every category. Customers prefer us because of that deep expertise, and the maximizing of the profit opportunity also comes because of that control of all parts of the value chain. Benchmark partner relationships with vendors, with distributors, with franchisees it is a relationship of a very different order, where there is a deep personal connect that people of Titan have with those partners. And of course, coming to the people of Titan itself, the culture, capability, and commitment which the people of Titan have, that combination is again a very, very unique combination. So that's where I end. Thank you very much. Looking forward to all the presentations from my colleagues and of course engagement after that. Thank you.